Hello and welcome to the channel. So today we will be reviewing this guy, Wesley Snipes as Blade, and as he appeared in the film Deadpool and Wolverine. And that's not a bad likeness. But joining him today in that review will be Deadpool and Wolverine. And I've got Wolverine posed out differently from the last time you saw him. And on Deadpool's side, I've got him posed out differently from the last time you saw him. So overall, these three together look quite good. Even though Deadpool is not Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, or Wolverine there is not Hugh Jackman Wolverine, with the masks on and the way they look together, it's kind of convincing that those two figures, Deadpool and Wolverine, could be the movie ones. But we're going to just look at him today for most of this review, and take off Deadpool and Wolverine, and then we'll bring them back later. So that's him in his first pose, and I'll go into that in a minute. So this is him in the first pose, and I like that. And I'm going to show you the other weapons that I'm going to pose him with. I'll bring it down here to those stakes and that pistol. And coming across, you'll see his other head sculpt, a pair of glasses, some gesture hands. We'll go into that later. And that's Deadpool's weapon, and that's Blade's katana there. Now those weapons are mostly off my other Blade figure, and I'm going to be posing him with those weapons you just seen, but these are the other ones that comes with that other Blade figure. And it's just a shame this figure didn't have more weapons, but I suppose you can only feature the weapons that were in the film and not add it to this character. But I'm going to turn the figure around just to show you something. So coming in close, as you can see there, he's got that kind of machete weapon attached to his back in that fashion. And then he's got a sidearm that clips onto his holster section. And it's a nice look. But you'll see that initially the weapons that the other Blade has been posed out with this figure, and then I'll show you the weapons he came with in different poses. So let's move on. So here's kind of a sideways on shot. He's still got that boomerang blade in one hand, and coming down you'll see that stake, and that looks nice. Just go around a little bit, see the different angles. And it was good to see him back in the movie world, the Blade, when he appeared in Deadpool and Wolverine. I really liked seeing him there. Would have liked to have seen him in the old image of the trench coat and the katana blade and the weapon he's holding now. But he was a lot more diminished as well in stature. He used to be more physical looking. But I suppose if Wesley Snipes ever revisited the role, he's capable of pumping up. He has a history of fitness in martial arts, which made him perfect for the role of Blade. So I'm hoping he will do it. Okay, so the interesting thing about this figure, when I saw it on the internet, I kind of thought he looked a bit disproportionate. Like his body was too short and his legs were too long. But when you get him up close and personal, you kind of like it more than you thought. and I do like it, especially in his lightness in the face. And those glasses you can take off, and they're not too fiddly to get on either. You just put them over the eyes and you pinch the arms of the glasses against the side of the head or the figure, and it does stay on and it's secure. So let's move this on and see what else we can come up with. Not a bad pose. Opened out his stance, tilted his head upwards. Not too bad. Yeah, this figure is a lot better to see in person and poses really well. I've posed him quite a lot off camera, and there's some great poses I've got him in, but you only see a few of them today. And at the end of the day, it's all about just showing you a bit of articulation and posability and interacting with your figures, because there's the posing channel, and I've seen some good poses in collections of this scale, so I'm always inspired. But to change out his weapons a bit now, just take it back to there. So this is how I like to see Blade, with that katana that come off my other Blade figure, and a stake in his hand. Not a piece of steak like meat, but a wooden stake. And I like it. And I only wish that in the film itself they had featured this weapon again, so you could have it with the figure when you bought it, but obviously it didn't happen. But he would look good if you came back in the film dressed like this and having that weapon, and having some of the weapons that we're more used to seeing Blade with. In the film Deadpool and Wolverine, you had that like machete type weapon and a pistol that wasn't as good as the ones in the early Blade films, which I'm going to show you in the next couple of minutes. So yeah, okay, let's change out that wooden stake. So this one I don't mind either. Got a bit more movement in the figure and the pose, and I'm tempted to take the glasses off him actually, just to show you that, and I suppose I should, because he still looks good without the glasses. So we'll have a look at that now. But that likeness is there with the glasses. I'm not sure if you feel the same way without, but we'll have a look at that. Nice pose there. So squared them on so you can get a close look at that head sculpt. It's there. I wouldn't say it was perfect, but it's there, and as I say, in my opinion, I actually think it looks better with the glasses on. But I would pose him this way, and I would pose him this way. I think that face looks more Wesley than the one I've got on, but yeah, he would pose well without the glasses. But that's him there with a katana and that boomerang blade, and he doesn't look too bad from that angle. And he doesn't look too bad from there. Okay, so we'll change out those weapons, which so far you're seeing they're all the weapons from my other Blade figure. So let's see what we can come up with the next lot. So I've put a weapon that came with my Deadpool figure, and it's feasible he would have used a weapon like this in his hunt for vampires. In fact, I think in the first Blade film, when they're at their secret location, him and Whistler, you see a rack of guns, and I'm sure this gun was featured in that film, but I can't be certain. And Deadpool has another weapon which is like a big power rifle thing, or plasma gun, or whatever it is, and I'm sure he'd look good being posed out with that, because I've done that with my other Blade figure. But yeah, that's not bad. I'm going to pose him just holding the gun and get rid of the sword. So I do like this. Kept it simple. And yeah, he does look good with the weapons. It's a shame, as I say, it's in the film. You only see him with 2 weapons, so they couldn't add any in with the figure when they were selling it. But yeah, I've got weapons that would suit this guy. Not that the weapons he comes with aren't any good, but it's great to have this with Blade, because in the early films you see he has a whole range of weapons all related to killing vampires. So let's give you guys another one. So I've now put this weapon in his hand. It's that weapon there. And when I got my other Blade figure, I got this weapon because I've got 2 packs of the McFarlane's accessory pack. I got 2 of these things, and I put them with my first Blade figure, and it looked really good, and they looked similar to the weapons he had in the movies, so I thought I'll stick them with him. But looking at it now with this figure, to me it strikes me as being slightly too big. Maybe not. I might try one more pose with that, just to see if it sits better with me on camera. So let's change it a little bit. So I'll try to create a different dynamic here, and I like it as a pose, and the gun doesn't seem too over large. It doesn't look too big for this figure now. Now I'm looking at it better. But on a personal level, I think the Blade figure suits that pistol better. I think it's a lot to do with his overall look, with the trench coat and everything. But at the end of the day, let's get around to a better angle. Yeah, I think these pistols, in my heart, are better suited to my other Blade downstairs. I'm filming upstairs today. I've done a few of them upstairs. Sometimes I'll go into the can't be arsed mode, so I do it up here. As long as I get the point across in terms of the review, I'm happy. But where I film normally is in the kitchen, and I do like it there. It's a nice space to work in. So let's change it out now. So I've finally shown you him now with the weapons he came with. That machete type blade thing, and that hand pistol which clips to his holster. Also tried the other glasses that this figure comes with, which he's now wearing. Not sure, he's more fiddly to me. I might have to change back to the other glasses. But at the end of the day, those are the weapons Blade comes with. And I posed him with these weapons off camera. He does look good. But I have enjoyed from the point of the review, the blade figures other weapons that you've seen, like the bladed boomerang things and the wooden stakes and the katana sword. That's my preferred choice when it comes to posing weapons with this figure, rather than the ones you're seeing now. But the bit I wanted to concentrate with is the head sculpt, because as you can see there, if you look at the cardboard box with that picture of him from the actual movie, and I do remember that, and look at his head sculpt, it's not bad. You see that white fleck of hair in his on the right side, the white goatee. So they didn't do a bad job for likeness, and I think personally he does look better in terms of likeness when he's got the glasses on. When you take the glasses off, it's kind of hit and miss. But the head sculpt you saw him wearing earlier on was that one, which is kind of in the ballpark, but I just think this one, in terms of him without the glasses, is closer to his likeness. So on that note, we'll move it along, and I'll bring in his other hands that he came with. Yeah, it's not really, excuse me, not really a brilliant one for me, but yeah, he's got his gesture hands in now, as you can see, and I suspect those are with the figure because, as you know, Blade has a martial arts background, as does the actor in real life. Wesley Snipes was quite an accomplished martial artist, which is why when he did his fight sequences, his moves were very, very natural and not as though he'd been taught those moves. But that's not really a martial arts move. I'll try a martial arts move, or pose should I say, just to see what that looks like. But it's not bad. So this is more like it. Sort of martial artsy, this pose. Yeah, not too bad. In quite a wide stance there. That's not bad from that angle. Let's try another one. Yeah, brought the stance in a little, but still kept the shape of the hand and the fist. So it's sort of martial artsy. Yeah. Let's try another one. Yeah, just wanted to see this one. Nothing spectacular, but sometimes less is more. It's not too bad. Okay. Right then, let's try one more. I hope it pays off, but I can only give it a go. Just wanted to go into looking at that box closer, because I do like artwork on boxes, and there's a little bit about Blade there. But let's try and get that pose that I'm working on for the last bit of this review. This was so fiddly, and I think it's going to fall down anyway because I didn't use a foot stand. But I wanted to show this figure is supposed to do this, and that's what I thought. So I'm going to try that again. What about to put him on a foot stand? It was just easier. I have actually posed him like this without the foot stand, and he stayed up all night. He was having one of them days, so I just thought I want to demonstrate this for you guys. Okay. I'll probably do one more actually to make up for that topple with the weapons in his hand. Yeah, I think my luck's running out. Tried to even pose him on the foot stand today and he wasn't having it. So if he stays up on this shot, I'll be surprised. But at least you know you can do this. It just takes a bit of patience and finding the balance of the figure. So let's wind it up. Okay. Yeah, just wanted to do one more square on. I like that one. Yeah, because I think when I put him up initially and he fell over, it kind of put a downer on things. I hate that, but you can call that the outtakes. So that's the kind of pose I like to put Blade in, even though one of those weapons isn't his. That's not bad. Let's finish it up then with the final pose. So we're back for the final time then. I put Wolverine and Deadpool with Blade, and that's his final pose. I am actually keeping him with these weapons, which didn't come with this figure. They came with my other Blade figure, but I do think the weapons that Blade figure have suit this figure also, apart perhaps from the pistol. But I like him as a figure. He's good to pose. That martial arts one kick pose was a right pain. Doesn't normally happen that way, but I hope it didn't sort of ruin things too much for you. And that close up of Wesley Snipes one more time. And I do think with the glasses on, the likeness is closer to Wesley Snipes. Without it, not so much, but it's still overall a good figure. And I've enjoyed posing him. And he does look good with this trio. Let's come to Deadpool first, with his katanas. And them two together look quite good actually. And then let's go across to Wolverine. And I normally pose the figure with the head sculpt I've given him, but he's looked good today with that mask. I've had him with the mask back on recently, and he kind of looks good there with Blade. But the man of the moment, Wesley Snipes. Reviewing this figure, I've come to like him more than I did originally when I saw him on the internet. And in my toy outlet, the other figures are coming in. They've got Deadpool Cowboy, or Cowboy Deadpool. I was after a lady Deadpool, but at the end of the day, they've got Nova, Casey, I think it is, who is Wolverine's daughter. And I've yet to see a Gambit and an Elektra, but I'm sure they're out there. So that's the end of the Blade review. I'm glad I got him. Actually, I'm glad I got him. And let's take one last look on the head sculpts you saw at the beginning of the review. And there's the extra pair of sunglasses and martial arts gesture hands that he comes with. So there you go. On that note, I say thanks for watching the channel, and I'll see you again next time.